On the 25th of the month of Shawwal, year 60 after Hijrah, the ambassador sent by Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam to the people of Kufa, Muslim ibn Aqil salamullahi alayhi, reached.
When Muslim ibn Aqil alayhi salam arrived in Kufa, people began to swear allegiance. And the result was that within the short period of time, about 18,000 people swore allegiance through him to Imam Hussein alayhi salam.
Muslim ibn Aqil was very excited. Quickly he wrote back to Imam Hussein, "A scout would never lie to his people. 18,000 men have pledged their support. They are ready for you to come. Hurry and come and be their Imam."
So Ibn Ziyad enters and he sees the level of support that Hussein has in the city. And so quickly he gathers some of his soldiers and his men trying to figure out a plan of what to do. News reaches Muslim ibn Aqil.
Muslim ibn Aqil realized it was now or never. He could not let the uprising wait. And so he decided on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah to give the sign. It was time to rise up against Ibn Ziyad.
So Muslim marched on towards the governor's mansion. And it said by the time they had assembled, there was about 4,000 men from the supporters of Muslim. So there and then the messengers were spreading these words. If you come out and fight with Muslim, Yazid will surely crush all of you. The army of Yazid is on the outskirts of Kufa. Any minute now, the soldiers of Yazid will enter. Each one of you who has come out, we know who you are, we know your names, you will be killed, you and your families and your homes destroyed.
When Ibn Ziyad found out that Muslim ibn Aqil had been staying in Hani's house, he was furious. He had trusted Hani and he had never thought that Hani would betray him. And so he decided that he was going to arrest and to kill Hani.
On the other hand, what's happening to Muslim ibn Aqil alayhi salam was that the followers began to dwindle.
Here we have Muslim ibn Aqil salamullahi alayhi, a stranger in the city of Kufa, nobody. He turned around, there was no one with him. He walks in the streets, he's thirsty.
So in the morning of the Fajr prayer, they heard horsemen arriving. To protect the sanctity of the house of Ta'ah, Muslim ibn Aqil alayhi salam armed himself and came out. He fought very bravely. There were 70 horsemen that were sent. He was on foot. He defeated all of them. So they sent 300 more people. They came and while the fighting was going on in the front area, in the rear, they dug a hole. As Muslim ibn Aqil alayhi salam advanced, he was advancing towards what they had prepared, a trap. And as he fell into that, they threw stones at him and eventually took the sword from him. At which point he began to weep, and people said, "Such a brave man like you who fought such magnificently in the streets of Kufa is weeping." He said, "I'm not weeping for myself. I'm weeping for Imam Hussein alayhi salam, who's heading towards this, and while you are preparing a trap for him and betraying him here." He said, "Assalamu alayka ya Abu Abdullah," facing Hijaz, and then he was executed in his body, and both were thrown down to the streets of Kufa.
And if they do not give their oath of allegiance to me, Yazid, then do what? Cut off your head and send it to me in Damascus.
Written in blood.
إن الحسين يشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأن محمدا عبده ورسوله. Hussein bears witness that there is no Lord except Allah. He is one, He has no partner.
Conserved by faith.
I have kept one for your father, Al-Hussein. He's much, much more thirsty than you.
Engraved in hearts.
Yazid is evil and I am good. Yazid is batil and I am haq. The only way you'll see this is if I am killed in the desert, and I'm willing to go through this.
An undying flame. The story of Hussein. Peace be upon him. When it came to Hussein's knowledge that Yazid had appointed Amr ibn Sa'd ibn al-As as head of an army, ordering him to take charge of the pilgrimage caravans and to kill al-Hussein wherever he could find him, al-Hussein decided to leave Mecca before finishing the pilgrimage and be satisfied with performing the only Umrah, because he hated that the sanctity of the house might otherwise be violated. A group of his family members, in addition to others, asked him to postpone his trip till he could get to know the condition of the public. They feared the treachery of the Kufians and were apprehensive of a possible reversal in the situation. But the father of the oppressed was unable to reveal the knowledge with him about his fate to everyone he met.
The time for the Hajj had come. Pilgrims from all over the Muslim lands had descended upon the holy city of Mecca to join in this greatest ritual of Islam. There were people of every language, every color, rich, poor, from the cities, from the villages, everywhere. All sorts of people had come to visit the house of Allah. And as they were there, all of them clad in white, equal before Allah, equal between themselves, they heard the shocking news that the very grandson of the Holy Prophet ﷺ was not able to complete the Hajj.
Sayyid al-Shuhada, Imam al-Hussein, peace and blessings be upon him, did not want his blood to be shed in the holy city of Mecca or in the vicinity of the Kaaba. And hence he decided to leave Mecca on Yawm al-Tarwiyah, the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, a day before the martyrdom of Muslim ibn Aqil.
So the people see that the Imam is making preparations, and every one of them comes around to Al-Hussein saying, please do not leave us. You, the messenger, you are the son of the messenger of Allah. The people of Mecca are here for Hajj. This is the perfect time for people to meet you, and you want to leave them behind?
And before leaving Mecca, he addressed the people in a very famous narration that stands today as one of the most important documents highlighting the objective of the mission of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. All praise be to Allah. The will of Allah be done. There is no power and there is no might but in Allah. Allah has blessed His messenger.
Then he famously said, خُطَّ الْمَوْتُ عَلَى وِلْدِ آدَمَ مَخَطَّ الْقَلَادَةِ عَلَى جِيدِ الْفَتَاةِ. That death is inscribed upon the sons of Adam, just like how the girl or the females love to wear necklaces.
In that sermon, he also says that you should notice that the rules of Islam are being violated, that innovations are being carried out, and the original message of my grandfather, the Prophet, is tarnished. It's no longer pure and pristine the way it was. And I have decided to take a firm stand on this matter to preserve the message of my grandfather as practiced by him and as practiced by my father.
Before Imam Hussein alayhi salam left the city of Mecca, a number of people came to speak with him, mostly to try to persuade him not to leave, because they knew if he left Mecca, he would be killed. They didn't realize that he knew this, but his life was not his concern. Instead, his concern was the survival of the Muslim Ummah. But one of these people who came to see Imam Hussein alayhi salam was not really trying to get the Imam to stay. And this was Abdullah ibn Zubair.
Abdullah ibn Zubair comes to see Al-Hussein. He says, what are your plans? He says, I plan to leave Mecca very soon. And Ibn Zubair says, perhaps it is safe if you stay here. He says, no, wallah, I heard the Prophet say, my grandfather, the Prophet say that one day a person will be killed while he's next to the Kaaba. And I do not want it to be me. I do not want to be the person who is willing to die, be murdered, his blood spilled by the Kaaba. Which is a reference to what happens to Ibn Zubair later on. So Imam says, I do not wish this for me, I am leaving. I will not stay. And Ibn Zubair leaves, and Hussein turns to the companions and he says, look how happy he is. He does not want me to stay in Mecca. He wants me to leave as soon as possible, because he wants the people, his attention towards him, not towards me.
Subsequently, the person who tried to dissuade him was his brother Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiyyah, who came and spoke to the Imam. And the Imam alayhi salam then said to him, "But I will think about what you said."
So when he was about to leave the next day, Muhammad al-Hanafiya came and reminded him. He said, "Ibn Rasulullah, I said to you, and you said you'll consider my suggestion of going to Yemen. And now it seems that you have completely ignored what I said." He said, "No, I did not ignore. I had this dream. I dreamt of my grandfather. I have no alternative but to go to Iraq."
During the early hours of the morning, Al-Hussein started the preparations for his departure. Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiya again came to him and held the reins of the she-camel upon which Al-Hussein had already mounted, saying, "Did you not promise me to think about my suggestion?" "Yes," Al-Hussein answered, "but after your departure, the Messenger of Allah came to me in a vision and said, 'O Hussein, get out. Allah Almighty has decreed to see you slain.'" Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiya said, "We are Allah's, and to Him is our return." He asked him about the reason for letting his family accompany him. Al-Hussein said, "It is the will of Allah to see them taken captives."
Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiya could not understand why he was doing this. No one could understand why Imam Hussein was leaving, because they were not looking at it the same way he was. The Imam was not leaving to save his life. The Imam was not leaving to gain power. The Imam was not leaving to start a new dynasty. The Imam was leaving to save Islam. And no matter what it took, that was what he was going to do. He was going to make a stand and give the message once and for all that would save the Muslim Ummah.
Abdullah ibn Ja'far al-Tayyar, for example, comes with his two sons and he says, "Look, I have got a letter from the governor giving you security and safety. You can stay here and be safe. We will not hand you over to Yazid. So stay where you are, you'll be fine." And then Hussein says, "No, Allah, wherever I go, these people will come after me. This letter of yours has no use to it. What you're trying to do is trying to do something noble for me, but you cannot prevent me from coming out to respond to these people of Kufa. I have a duty now. Even if I'm told I can be safe here, I cannot stay. I have to go. So it is not about safety anymore. I must respond to these people."
Subsequently, Ibn Abbas would tell the Imam that if you were to go to Yemen and seek refuge there and continue your movement there, it would be better for you, because Bani Umayyah would not allow you to continue. They would surely shed your blood.
The Imam said back, "I seek what is best from Allah, and we will see what happens."
So he knows death or no death, his family, his suffering, it's not as important as waking up people to, look, I'm being killed because I'm telling people to do Salah the right way. I'm being killed because I'm telling people to do the A'mal in the right way. You need to wake up now, people. You cannot sleep through this anymore. Yazid is evil and I am good. Yazid is batil and I am haq. The only way you'll see this is if I am killed in the desert and I'm willing to go through this way.
And thus, early on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, one day before the day of Arafah, the same day that Muslim ibn Aqil began his uprising in Kufa, the Imam set out from Mecca.
Imam salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi leaves the holy city of Mecca on the 8th of Dhul Hijjah, having not completed the pilgrimage, the Hajj, having known that the governor, Umar ibn Sa'id, had been instructed by Yazid to pursue the Imam and to capture him, even if he was clinging on to the clothing of the Kaaba.
The people watched him go. They were shocked, they were grieved, they were amazed. The Imam was being forced to go and heading off into the unknown, into the desert towards Iraq. And as he left the city, he was saying, وَكَانَ أَمْرُ اللَّهِ قَدَرًا مَقْدُورًا. And thus the command of Allah is a matter already decreed. His revolution had begun.
شد يا